me are familiar faces.
I was hoping you were going to do the other one.
Places, worn out faces. All right, well, how about this then? I wish I knew what you were looking for. Might have known what you would find. No. All right, how about this? So, the killing moon. What the heck one are you looking for?
Fade up against her will through the thick and thin.
That's the killing moon.
Oh, is it? Well, you didn't say that part of it.
Yeah.
So that part of it.
Like with stoic guys and something.
The fade up against her part.
Lips and words. The killing moon. I can't remember. Fade up against your will.
Yeah. Through the thick and thin. I had to hear I couldn't do it. I had to hear the.
You will wait until. Yeah, that's.
Something moon.
Yeah. I'm doing the best.
Skip a couple words.
Yeah.
I got excited when I heard that come up. I was like, oh, I haven't heard that in a while.
Yeah.
I was like,
yeah.
Jamming.
Against your will. Thanks. Hello there. Welcome back to the S Year podcast. My name is James. I'm joined by my awesome co-host, Beth. Beth, other than hot, how are you today? Wow. That wasn't me.
Just my acid reflux making an appearance.
Yay.
Oh, wow.
Wow. 1 star.
That's okay.
She burped. It's not funny.
Disgusting. It was funny. So I was at a friend's house once, and we were talking about that because her dad has acid reflux, and he was like, "Yeah, when I found out I had it, I woke up in the middle of the night and I couldn't breathe." I'm like,
"Oh my gosh!"
I was like, "God, do I even have that thing?" I was like, "That's never happened to me." But he's like, "Yeah, I drink, carbonated drink sometimes, and it bubbles up, and it's hard to, makes it harder to breathe, and you get bubbly and burpy." I was like, "Okay, that definitely happens. I have that, but I don't have the wake up. I don't drink soda before I go to bed."
Yeah.
So I imagine that's probably a part of that too, but yeah, it's not fun. But then I was at work and I was talking about it, and I was like, "Yeah, because I burped," and I was like, "Oh, sorry, I can't control it as reflux." And you really can't. It comes up when I'm going to vomit. But, they were like, then stop drinking carbonated drinks.
True.
And I was like, but bubble tastes good.
you don't live my life.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
And then it hurt. Because it's like heartburn, but not the same.
Right.
It just feels like a pressure, and you're like, oh. And they're like, drink water. You're like, yeah, I could drink water, or I could have bubble that make me taste good.
Yeah.
So.
Bubble that makes me taste good.
That's how I drink my drinks.
I
do it out from the side, like the pirates.
For your homies?
Well, no, you like.
Oh.
They don't think that was me now.
Yeah, right? Like, that was real snappy. Yeah. As always, we'd like to thank those who have come back week after week for doing so. And if this is your first time joining us, welcome. We hope you enjoy the show.
Episode.
I really like that I said as always. We haven't always done that.
No.
But I do.
We did it last week.
And
you can't prove it unless you watch all the episodes.
Listen
to all the episodes. You know what? Bull hanky, because you can pull it up on your little phone and watch the little numbers go by.
That's true.
You can watch it. So
you can watch it.
Do what you want, okay?
Live your life. Live your dream.
Visual watchers, we love you.
We love you.
Audio listeners,
All right. Beth, you kind of had a request to be alien-free for our movie this week. So we decided to watch Donnie Darko. So...
Yes.
I have to say,
need a break.
Yeah, I remember this movie coming out and watching it with your mother for the first time. It was mad confusing to me when I watched it the first time.
How old were you? Out of curiosity. 2001?
20s.
God, you're so old.
I know.
20s? Nuh-uh.
Yeah, man. I was 20s. I was not sure if it was supposed to be...
2021.
Yeah.
20-year difference.
I know. And I'm still old. I wasn't sure if it was supposed to be confusing. Like, if that's how it was supposed to be. But I do remember feeling unfulfilled at the end. Like, watching the whole movie, and then at the end, I was kind of like, but why? And then watching it again for the review and having a bit more information going into it, I feel like I understand it more. But I still kind of have mixed feelings. And that's me. So.
My vibe hard with this. It made a lot of sense to me.
Really?
Yes. It was like, almost like a kinship. Do you know what that means?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes?
I don't know, sometimes older people. But the way that the mannerisms and the way he speaks and takes in the information and then processes it later, like, okay, like, let's put it like this. Every time he sees him, he smiles. He's all like that weird, creepy grin, you know what I mean?
Yes.
But then later on, when he's talking to other people about it, he's freaking out. So he's like, the way that he handles and processes things, like, in the moment, it's like, this is fine. You know, this is happening. It's fine. And then later on, it's like, holy crap. I understand that. But the way he talks about things, like, the first scenes when he's at school, and with the symbolism.
Yeah.
Why did that sound weird? Symbolism, with the book and everything, understanding that, like, you know, obviously I care deeply about symbolisms and parallelism, so I understood where I think when things stopped making sense to me for a moment was when he goes to the cellar. That scene. And that took me a moment, because after that, I didn't understand the ending until, like, a couple seconds after, because it took me a second to be like, what is going on right now? Like, I thought this was all one thing, but I understand it. It's, do you know what the tangent universe thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
See, I guess I don't want to say your generation, this generation now, because of movies like Donnie Darko and Progressive over the last 20 years, have had more exposure to alternate universe and alternate reality type movies and things like that. I think, like, the MCU has really, I mean, I guess that showed Loki, like, that's all that's based on right now, is like timelines and screwing things up and stuff like that. So I think, and then you have Spider-Verse and things like that, where you have all these alternate
this
things.
Here with this movie
20 years ago, man, that was like,
right.
What's going on?
And this takes place in the 1980s.
Yes.
So it's like even more so, where in their time, it's like, this isn't even thinking. But you think about, here's the situation. It's almost, I mean, what's that one movie where they all escape death and then all have to die somehow? But it's horrible ways, like,
Final Destination.
Yeah, Final Destination. Not Destiny. Final Destination. They escape death. Everything goes out of whack. They have to die somehow.
Right.
This is almost the same concept, except instead of escaping death, he had it where the item, usually metal, like they explain, which was this giant, forever, whatever reason, plane piece.
Right.
Right. That crashes into his house. He's not home. He escapes his death.
Right.
So then it creates a tangent universe where now everyone inside this universe, everyone in the town, is now focused on this designated person, Donnie, to help him put that piece back into place. So that's why he gets the book and he gets the explanation and everything. People are subconsciously helping him out.
Gotcha.
And that's how he gets to the place where he's at. The only thing here that doesn't make sense, but does make sense, is Frank and all that part of it, but he's schizophrenic.
Right.
So that's how that also fits in. What doesn't really fit in is how, and this is where I got confused with it, was how and why Frank was actually a real person at the end.
Yeah.
Because he had known him before he knew him. It would be one thing if he had the mask and, like, never took it off. Like, the movie Steve kind of throws it off because he takes off the mask and he has the thing in the eye for the foreshadowing.
Right.
But he does and he sees him, so it's like, whatever. But I mean, I guess it also goes into the chosen person. You're chosen, this is what, you need to get this fixed in line. You have where your schizophrenia is telling you pretty much how to fix this. Like, hey, in X amount of days, X amount of minutes, all this, world's gonna end. unless you fix this. He sees the sky break open, like he said to the therapist. He's like, okay, this is what I gotta do. And he goes back in time and dies.
Right.
So that, I mean, that's the blatant what's happening. But there's more of the symbolism to it that's like when, there was a line. At the end, something had said that was said at the beginning of the movie. Oh, crap. I just watched this. But it's like the parallels of, I think the mom says it or something.
I don't know.
I don't know, but it connects. It all connects is pretty much what I'm saying. Like, through fate, I mean, it's fate decided. If you void what you're supposed to do, things correct and go through. I mean, he even says, I mean, when he's talking to the therapist and about God or time, yeah, or he's talking to the dude, whoever he talks to about that, and he's all like, okay, well, if God controls time, then is everything already pre-decided kind of thing. And goes into the whole everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
So if something, like he wasn't home because he was sleepwalking, dies, the whole tangent thing opens up. You have to reconnect, reposition, correct the timeline.
I gotcha. So. Wow. Haven't even got into it. You're pretty deep already.
Well, it was a good movie. I enjoyed watching this.
I'm glad.
It was weird to, like, I always have, I don't know, it's harder to watch movies where the mental illness of some time, and in this case, schizophrenia, is portrayed so well. Because you really see him deteriorate over time. And especially how much worse it gets when you have a love interest. That is because especially when you see with like psychopaths or like criminals in movies, the crazy one, if they're in love and that person dies, all hell breaks loose. And people really like that idea of having someone love you that much. But he was in a bad place. He immediately had a gun on him for some reason. Like, when is it that he decided to carry that around with him?
Right.
You know, how long did he have that on his person for? Did he leave the house with it on? You know, I mean, it's very odd that that's what was there because he had to have had that on his possession the entire time. Because there's no way from when that scene happened, from where he's like, okay, we need to go to the cellar, that he could have been like, BRB, I need to run up. Because he was so hell-bent on being like, we need to leave now.
Yeah.
So he must have had that on him the entire time. Or the gun was fake. None of it was real. Schizophrenic.
Gotcha.
So, because you even see that when when the clown comes out of the car, he's like, "Why are you guys in the middle of the road?" They weren't in the road; they were in the yard. And then the old lady was standing right there too. She was in the road.
Grandma Death.
Yeah, and they weren't even driving down the road. They drove up on the yard and parked in front of them.
It's true. So,
inconsistencies kind of make it seem like...
It just makes it more part of the madness.
Right.
I mean, that's the whole thing is like, I get, again, it's really easy to see and to have heard and to have all the this, that, and the other and stuff like that and then watch back and be like, oh, okay, here's all this. Watching this 20-some years ago for the first time, and I was just like, what in the blazes is going on?
Yep. Yeah.
And then the ending, you're like...
It's a psychological movie.
So wait a minute. Did he went back in time? But wait a minute, the engine's from the future. So, what? You know what I'm saying?
It's... corrects itself. You know, you think of it like this. He survives. His mom goes to that trip.
Right.
They coming back. The sky tears open because of what happened beforehand with how she died and everything. Madness, whatever.
Right.
Breaking out. Mom's plane gets through, so it's technically still his fault that happened. So the plane goes through the sky. That's why that part breaks off and goes into his house like that. So it goes through the wormhole, that they were all talking about. Wormhole opens in random point in time, or an act of God would open it in a specific location type stuff is what he was saying in the movie theater. So you have where, I mean, you think about it, that happened because he survived. So that same thing that happened because he survived is the thing to kill him, to make it so it doesn't happen.
It's weird.
But then what happens? Does it not happen again? What happens when they win the competition? Because the competition didn't have anything to do with what had happened previously.
Right.
So competition happens, they still get chosen to do the thing. And then the other lady would take the kids on the flight.
Right.
It wouldn't be the mom would be home.
Right.
So
I don't know, man. I don't know. So Donnie Darko was released January 19th, 2001, and is a mystery sci-fi movie that runs a little under 2 hours long. Did it feel like 2 hours to you?
No.
Yeah.
It felt like I don't know, because, and so I usually complain about stuff like that, where things are choppy, when they have where you're in one scene, and then you're at the house, and then you're back at school in like a matter of seconds. And there's no time period. It's just day, night, day.
Yeah.
I was in this movie where they were just everywhere all the time.
Yeah.
And then back and forth. But I felt like that fed into the whole what's real here.
Gotcha.
Like how are the days going, because you have to go through 20 days so quickly.
Yeah.
But you can't do it in a sense where it's like on the second day he finds the gun.
Right.
He gets this. So you have to do it where here's a bunch of different scenes throughout the week, throughout the month. And I think they did that pretty well.
Gotcha.
I had no problem with that. It felt systematic enough that it wasn't an issue.
Okay. The story follows a troubled teenager who is plagued by visions of a man in a terrifying rabbit suit that manipulates him into committing a series of crimes after he narrowly escapes a bizarre accident. Like I said, it's a weird movie. It's the rabbit suit is enough pretty much to haunt your dreams. Because I'm like, what? Why does it look like that? So, the movie stars actors such as Jake Gyllenhaal, his sister Maggie Gyllenhaal, Patrick Swayze, Mary McDonnell, Seth Rogen, and James Duvall, to name a few.
Who was Seth Rogen in this movie?
He's in there.
He's the kid. He's one of the kids.
Yep.
Yeah, I see that.
He's the one who says, I think...
He's like, the cops are here. You call the cops.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll talk about it later.
Okay.
The movie did not blow the box office away, as it had a $6 million budget, and it only ended up grossing under $7 million worldwide, like in all. It does, however, it did become a cult classic, and has developed a following as one of the movies that gets brought up in conversation, past word of mouth, like as a must-see.
It's because it didn't do well because it debuted just after 9/11 and featured a plane crashing into an house. So there's also bad timing.
Yeah. At the point when it came out, though, all I could see Jake Gyllenhaal as was Bubble Boy. And you probably don't know what Bubble Boy is.
God, that's so loud.
Yeah. Bubble Boy is a movie where he's a bubble boy. He goes to find a girl, and he chases and runs around in a bubble and makes a whole bunch of friends and stuff like that. It's really weird. But yeah, that's the movie that I had seen. And actually, I think this came out before Bubble Boy, but I saw Bubble Boy before I saw this. So you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like Brendan Fraser was in School Ties. You don't know who he is.
Robert Pattinson, Twilight. Now he's playing Batman.
Right.
You can only see him as Vampire Boy.
Right. So if you watch, but if you were like, right, exactly. That's good. That's good enough. Yeah. So, well, I mean, there's going to be people who think about kids
in this
that were
movie
born.
Specifically, the principal is a teacher in iCarly. That's all I could see him as this cartoon, or not cartoon, but childish show. Yeah. And also Spencer from iCarly was in this too as one of the kids. He was like, how do I know what I'm going to be when I get older? He was that guy.
Nice.
And I was like, wow, that is so cool that, time takes these people like 10 so down the road and now they're in the same TV show.
Yeah, that's weird.
So,
and you saw Patrick Swayze, of course, is in this.
Yes, I didn't notice that until, oh gosh, when he was doing the presentation and he had the pictures next to him of him with the longer hair.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And I said, oh, I know who this is.
It's funny, like my mom.
But to be fair, I thought he was the guy from The Thing.
Oh, no. Kurt Russell? Yeah. No. There's an actor named Mark Harmon. He's been in umpty million different movies. Great movies, great actor, whatever. But he played Ted Bundy in a movie in the 80s. And that's all my mom can see him as. So whenever she's like, oh, that's Ted Bundy. I don't like him. And I'm like, he's an actor. How you don't like him? But yeah, she couldn't watch movies with him in it because he's Ted Bundy. So, and it's true. I mean, he did a really good job in the role too. Like, he really sold it. So, anyway, I did like the movie is set in 1988. So technically it's an 80s movie. We'll take it there.
Yeah.
Even though it's not. So, all right. So we'll jump in. So on October 2nd, 1988, in the small town of Middlesex, Virginia. Yay, Virginia. Intellectual but troubled teenager Donald J. Donnie Darko has been experiencing bouts of sleepwalking and wakes up on a road before cycling home. Later that night, led by a mysterious voice, he sleepwalks out of his home. Once outside, he meets a figure in a monstrous rabbit costume who Donnie comes to refer to as Frank, who tells Donnie that the world will end in 28 days, 6 hours, 42 minutes, and 12 seconds.
So I just found something. It says, Frank Bunny is the manipulated dead. The manipulated dead is a person who dies within the tangent dimension. They are able to contact the living receiver through the fourth dimensional construct.
Oh.
Which does make sense, because he does die within that.
He does die.
So.
Weird, man. See, that's what I'm talking about. That's deep.
Yeah, I guess you would have to have a lot of pre-notion information about universes. You'd have to know all this. Because I didn't know anything about the manipulated dead, or if you die inside the tangent universe, you know, whatever. But doesn't that make, what's her name, a manipulated dead? Why didn't she reach out to him? Because she does die as well.
Right, she gets
ran over.
Marked over.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Donnie wakes up the next morning on a local golf course and returns home to discover a jet engine has crashed into his bedroom. His older sister, Elizabeth, tells him the FAA investigators do not know its origin. Weird. Over the next several days, Donnie continues to have visions of Frank. His parents, Eddie and Rose, consult with his psychiatrist, Dr. Thurman. She believes he is detached from reality and that his visions of Frank's are daylight hallucinations due to paranoid schizophrenia. Thanks. Frank begins to influence Donnie's actions through his sleepwalking episodes, including causing him to flood his high school by breaking through a water main with an axe. Donnie also meets a girl named Gretchen Ross.
What a terrible name.
You know, Gretchen would have been my name if I was a girl. Gretchen Noel Wallen would have been my name. Yeah, thanks, Mom.
Ugh.
Whatever.
Gretchen! That's just an old lady name.
I can go by Greta.
Isn't that crazy? Like, Greta, that's not much better.
No, it's not.
Isn't that the name of a cat?
Probably.
Someone has a cat named Greta.
Gretchen sounds like a cat name.
Oh, it's,
Gert.
Your sister. She is a... Dondi has a cat named Greta.
Does she?
Yeah. See how it piece things together? Like, you got named after a cat named after a female you.
Sweet.
But, no, I that is what interests me, is old-timey, like, names like that.
Yeah.
Like, you think, like, Bob or Janice, Susan. Yeah. These are, like Susan and Janice and Karen, like, those are millennial names. You're like, when you were born, those were on the list of top 1990 names to name your kids or whatever. And so, but, like, now... you have names that lasted ever, like Emily or Elizabeth or Katie, that are always going to probably be up there. Yeah. But now you have people, like, celebrities naming their kids after random things, that
Marshmallow.
go into the list, but you have more significant names, like names that are from other countries, but sound like well enough that you can, like, yeah, okay, this means this, but we can still use it here in America.
Yeah.
So that I always find that interesting. But like Greta is such a grandma name.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
At work, there's a lot of old people that come through, and they've got sweet old names, and I really like that. I really actually agree with you on that. I get to hear a lot of interesting names, and you can tell it's from 1942 is when they're born, or 1940s or 30s, and you just know that from that timeline.
Male one that would be a good example.
Sherman.
Yeah. I was gonna say Vincent keeps coming to mind, but Vincent feels like a time capsule name. It's good for whenever.
Not bad. I don't know a lot of Vincents. Vincent Price.
Edward's an older name.
Yeah.
Eddie. Eddies are old.
Yeah. Eddie and the Cruisers. You don't know what that is.
No, I don't.
So Donnie meets a girl named Gretchen Ross, who has recently moved into town with her mother under a new identity to escape her violent stepfather. So that just throws a wrench in the story.
And I have no idea if it connects to now with this manipulated dead thing, or if it was just her character, but she was very, 2D to me. I didn't really enjoy her character. Flat. She was kind of flat. She was there for the whole romantical purpose. But you have this girl, and I don't know about you, but if my stepdad stabs my mom in the chest like that, I'm going to be a little janked, But she's all like, yeah, we moved here because my stepdad, he's a bad guy, stabbed my mom in her chest. You want to make out? What is wrong with you?
Yeah.
Which, in that sense, was she there as a thing where she died in a car accident thing within the reality, and figured her way to help was a stabilizer for Donnie, so she was a romantic.
That was her role.
That was her role.
I don't know, man.
Because she comes as a transfer student.
Yeah.
And who's like, oh, so next to the cutest boy in the class, because why? That makes a lot of sense now, because when he first meets her, the teacher, when she walks in, she's all like, how about you just sit next to the cutest boy? Like, no, when someone new walks in, the teacher's already aware that she's coming. There's already a seat prepared and everything. And whatever. You do not let somebody in and be like, okay, let's be misogynistic. How about you just sit next to the cutest boy you see? What? No. So that would make sense now, knowing what we know, if she was all like, okay, yeah, I'll sit next to him, or she put him next to him for the sole purpose of being, stabilizer.
Yeah. Next part's pretty strange. I thought it was weird. Just kind of threw out there. Dr. Thurman hypnotizes Donnie at his next therapy session, but it ends with him discussing his sexual fantasy involving Christina Applegate while he unzips his pants, causing Thurman to end the session prematurely.
I felt bad when he had to wake up from it, because he was like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Every time.
Right?
I was going to say, my person that I can't see as any different is him. Because isn't he from Mighty Ducks?
No.
Who's that? Because
that's Emilio Estevez.
I got the same face.
All right. No.
Oh my god.
No, this guy's in The Day After Tomorrow.
He's from something that we've seen. Breakfast Club?
No, that's Emilio Estevez.
They look the same. They look the same.
They're very different in age too, man.
They look the same.
Nice.
What else? Has he been in anything else we've watched?
He's been in a lot of stuff.
That we watched?
That we've watched? Yes. I mean...
The Thing, always. They're always The Thing.
He was not in... Right, that always pops up.
It always pops up somehow. He's in Spider-Man. He plays, he was in Not Far From Home. plays the Wanda dude. Okay, never mind. I know. Mysterio, yeah. Never mind.
You good now?
They do look similar when
they
he's younger.
Look a lot.
When
I don't disagree with you, but it's not good.
It's not.
So, Donnie, later, Donnie goes to a clearing and shoots bottles while his friends discuss the sexual components of Smurfs.
Foreshadowing, by the way, him shooting on aim with the guns.
True. While there, Donnie and his friends spot a seemingly senile old woman who stands in the road in front of her house and is almost run over.
Who really had no other point.
No.
Other than the book. Which was really sad, because I was really hoping that they were going to have a conversation. Like, she was going to look at him and be like,
Thinner.
No.
Sorry, different movie.
Look at him and be like, oh, yes, this is what's going to happen, XYZ.
Yeah. A few days prior to this, Donnie is in the car with his father, Eddie, who is driving, and he almost runs her over as well. Donnie steps out of the car to check on her, and the old woman whispers in his ear, every living creature on Earth dies alone. Thanks for that. Donnie later brings this up in one of his therapy sessions.
Isn't it beautifully sad, though, what she said?
Yeah, but I mean, still, thanks a lot.
It's true.
But he admits that he doesn't want to be alone.
I like that, because when the therapist is talking to him about that exact thing, she's all, how to make it feel, and he was like, it made me think of my dog who went underneath the porch to die, to be alone. And it's like, yes, you see a lot of people when they do die, they would rather be by themselves as to not hurt their loved ones or anyone around them. You have it where it's like, in my last final moments, I just want peace. I don't want to see the people upset that I'm leaving. Or, okay, so personally, I know some people are self-centered and they want to be like, I want everyone to be sad when I die. Yeah.
I want everybody around me in tears and a little song. Somebody needs to be singing Hare Krishna and have a tambourine. And then into the salt and pepper shakers I go. But I understand what you're saying.
You can get a slap on the wrist. I don't know. I don't got much to offer it. But, personally, I don't want to see... Because it makes me feel bad. If I was... So, like... cancer. Think about it like that. There's a lot of people, doesn't matter your age, who could get cancer at any point and go through that horrible process. And you have where, it's very expensive. My whole life has always been centered around, I'm trying to not spend money. Kind of, I don't want to be where you have to go and be like, okay, well, you just broke your bed, gotta buy you a new bed now. Oh, you need, medication. That's $100 out the ass kind of thing. And so when stuff like that, I'm one of those people who thinks, oh, you need chemotherapy. That's got to be so hard on the family because that's so much money, and that's how I think about it. So if I was going through something like that, it would be harder because the entire time I would just be thinking, even if I do survive this, think about the medical impact that it has on my family. Like how some people just can't recover afterwards because they don't have the money for it.
Right.
And that is part of that. So it's like, well, wouldn't I be better off dead? Anyways, pun, I guess. I don't know.
It's a good movie.
Yeah, good movie. In a sense of like, okay, person A gets cancer. They're with their family, middle class, can't really afford it.
Right.
Makes it so this person, whole family is putting all their money towards this because they want their kid to live, obviously. Kid gets better, hypothetically and they're now out of the hospitals, everything's paid, but they have no money, had to sell their house, had to downgrade. What kind of life is that for the kid? What kind of life is that for you as a parent who's having to slave away, even more so now? Now you're also worrying, is the cancer going to come back? If it does, that's even worse. Like, what am I going to do? Or, you put all that money into it as a parent, you downgrade your house and everything to afford it, and then your kid dies. How do you can't, you go home?
Where do you get dark, man?
But I'm saying, but that's what I'm saying. So in the sense of, like, I'd rather die alone, it's stuff like that where it's like, I'd rather personally avoid being like, why put my family in this horrible position? That's why I don't understand, like...
You don't want to be a burden.
I don't want to be a burden. Like, that's why I'd rather die and be put into like a tree because it's way less expensive. You know, you die and you burn me up, take your ashes, whatever. I guess whatever. I don't care about all that. You take my organs, put the rest of me in those tree bags.
Yeah, I've seen
to
them.
plant as a tree. Then I'm helping the environment. You know, I'm doing something as well. Yes. So those are super good. Or you have those coral reef deaths where people, they take your ashes and they cement you, or not cement. It's something biodegradable or something, but they turn you into false pseudo coral reefs. Then they drop you in the ocean, and the fish start to grow around it, and it's helping the ocean.
That's interesting.
And it costs like just about the same as a normal cemetery does, like cemetery death.
I've not known about that.
These are all better options that I think than just like polluting more space in the earth with tombstones. You know, you just
people like to have a place to go.
And exactly, become a tree. Go in the ocean. You know, that seems like a really rad way to go. You're gonna live in a system like. If they're ghost after death type thing, you want to come out of this ground, this pit in the ground, in a cemetery?
Yeah.
Do you spend your normal time in a cemetery?
No.
No, because why would you?
I think you're 3 down. Don't care anymore. You know what I'm saying?
It's the same thing.
Like,
your money means nothing when you're dead.
I'll care about... No, what I'm saying is like...
So why does it matter where you are when
like
you're
a
dead?
Cemetery, like, okay, my parents... Okay, so I have a place to go to. And then my kids would know about that place. But my kids aren't going to care. So then they're just there. Does that make sense what I'm saying?
You mean like to visit?
Yeah. Like if you have a place... Like that's really where it comes down to.
But like imagine you be like, okay, turn me into a tree. You become an apple tree. You feed kids. My whole life, if I had kids, I'd be like, yeah, here's your grandpa. Take his fruit. You'd be the giving tree. You'd literally become the giving tree.
I do want to be a giving tree.
We talk about that a lot. But I think that'd be so cool because I feel like I would feel more connected to the tree knowing that you were a part of it. Because you would literally be that tree.
I got you. I worry about like being put into an urn or something like that and then ending up on like a shelf in like Goodwill or something.
Right. I watched this guy who does the metal detectors.
Yeah.
And he found a urn that was buried in the earth, sealed. And it had a really pretty design. And it was ashes, and in the ashes were treasures. Like gold and like watches and stuff. Things that belonged to this person. And he just spilled it all over the ground.
Oh no, you don't do that. That's disrespectful.
And I was like, but exactly. But who's there to stop him?
Right.
What does it matter at this point? Because no one's there. No one knows where this is going to be. You're in the ground somewhere. Why not be in the ground with all your treasures as a tree? Or as a coral reef? You'd have fishes.
I'm down for that.
I would love to watch... Adult Swim used to have a little thing where one of its commercials was the fish tank.
Yes.
I loved watching that.
Yes, I remember that.
I would absolutely adore being in the ocean and sitting on the ground as a ghost watching fishes all day.
That's fair. Wow. Well, you went deep with it.
So
that's twice you've gone deep. Deep in the ocean. Yeah. You boo.
But
So
this movie had a lot of good quotes.
Yeah. So as she said, every living creature on Earth dies alone. So Donnie later brings that up in therapy, admits he does not want to be alone. The old woman is nicknamed Grandma Death by the locals. She stands in the road every day and checks her empty mailbox frequently, despite never getting any mail.
I hope to be Grandma Death.
That's still sad that she doesn't get any mail.
Some kind of cool but that was the symbolism.
Right.
She was waiting for him.
It's Eleanor Rigsby.
Yeah. But,
Do you know who Eleanor is?
No, I have no idea who that is.
It's a Beatles song. It's about an Eleanor Rigsby. She dies and she's all alone. There's nobody there to care. And the father, the priest who gives the speech, there's nobody there and nobody there to listen to a sermon that he wrote. It's just all the lonely people. It's really a sad song.
Life is very complicated in the sense of people want to leave an imprint on this world before they die.
Yes.
At the same time, you have the inner battle of, I would not want to be a burden to other people.
Right.
So some people take it in a greedy way. There's a bunch of different type of people with this. Some people take it in a greedy way. I know you've never seen Coco, and I wish you would. But, because I could use this as a reference. But he takes and he kills his best friend
Man.
As a sense of, I'm going to take all your songs because you don't want to do it with me because he just wanted to go home to his kid. I'm going to take all your songs. I'm going to become famous. Then he dies. He's in the soul life. But you have where someone did that, where he was like a nobody. He wanted so desperately to become somebody. He killed his best friend to become that. So you have where people are going to do not anything to become some big famous person, and then word gets out, and then nobody likes you anymore. It just is such a... I mean, it's literally celebrities. There are some celebrities that just don't matter as much as others. They just don't. They're there for a moment, and then they're gone. You can't even remember their names.
Yeah.
And it's like, you sold your soul for what?
Yeah. 15 minutes of fame. That's what they say.
Or you do it, and you get typecasted for the rest of your life.
Right.
Which, to me, is even worse. You don't even get to experience anything.
Right.
Or you have where the guy in Titanic, Leonardo,
DiCaprio.
His whole career, getting robbed of being in great movies, playing great parts, and everyone thinks that it's one way, but the whole thing was an entire act, and he's just a great actor.
Right.
Where he should have had all these awards, but no one at the time recognized it. And now you have where people are like, oh, okay, this is great. And it's like...
Now he's a meme.
So yeah, now he's just a meme. I mean, isn't that a joke in itself to be a meme? Your whole life comes up and that's what you are. Yeah. Like, sometimes that's cool, where if I went out and I drew something, like a format, like the guy who did the comics, and he did the bike one, where it's like, someone stole my bike, but at least their day's better.
Right.
So, overall, world happiness. That guy got insane hate. He got bullied off of Twitter, bullied off of Instagram, because he just couldn't handle it mentally, because he had people in his, messaging him and everything, horrible messages about this stupid comic that he made.
Really?
Because if someone robs you, you're going to be happy that they're happy that they robbed you.
Right. No.
So everyone was like, you dumb one. And so they made memes about it. They were like,
they made memes about it.
Like, a bike stole my bike. I'm pretty biked about it. Stupid stuff like that. So you have with this whole guy's...
I remember that.
Yeah, right, because I sent them... I thought they were funny. Yes. But you have where this whole guy's career is to make comics. And now he is a meme format. He has a lot of different meme formats, where some of them are intentional because he's like, they're good ones. But some of his comics are one of that one was bad, but he was like, it hurt mentally for him for a long time that he didn't make comics for a good while, and I was pretty sad about that because I enjoyed his comic style. And you have where, like, if I went out and I drew a picture, or I made an edit of a picture, and for some reason the gears clicked and somebody saw that, and then a bunch of people saw that, then I could be like, yeah, I started this meme, but no one's gonna know unless I was already in a place where I was big enough to do something. Like the Lost meme, which I didn't know the, story behind. I just, whatever, until someone was like, yeah, there's a whole lot of information that goes into this. Some guy who was making comics would reuse panels and reuse, things, and this whole thing was, just copied and whatever, and he made one that was suddenly very serious, and it's about him going to the hospital. So it's like, his whole thing was that it's copied, and, things are replaced. So the people said that you could break his comics down into a simple format of 4 panels. So I'm going to just like this, where he goes to the hospital, he's talking to somebody at reception, he's talking to a doctor, and then he's in a room with his wife dead. And it's these 4 little symbols, and people took this, and they called it the Lost meme, because it's lost, and because the guy makes funny comics, and he made this. And now you have where people set up images with this format, and it's so subtle, and you just have to be able to know mentally what it is to be like, damn it, I got caught again with the loss. And people get so mad over it, and it's so funny. But it's like, the actual story behind the comic is so sad. Like, this, because he lost, it's like, his wife's not dead, they lost a baby.
Oh my god.
That's what it is. Because she's all sad.
Oh.
But people take it, look, and you get stuff like this. 1, 2, 3, a thing about math. What is this post for? It's not even funny or even a meme. It's literally a middle school math lesson. But it's math memes, because it's lost. And then you have, I mean, here, yeah, simple images. Stuff like this. And it's so funny, because people get so complex with it.
Wow.
Look at, see? 1, 2, 3, 4.
Shoot.
Because that's how this is how things are set up. That's what the point is that you have comics that this guy made, and every comic was in this style, and then they made one. Gold. Comedy gold. Wow. It's just crap.
Oh,
it's
man.
not good. But it's funny because of the exact reason.
All right. So the gym teacher and Christian fundamentalist Kitty Farmer attributes the act of vandalism to the influence of the short story The Destructors, assigned by dedicated English teacher Karen Pomeroy. Kitty begins teaching attitude lessons taken from local motivational speaker Jim Cunningham, but Donnie rebels against these, leading to friction between Kitty and Rose, who both have young daughters in the same dance troupe. Troupe or trope? Troupe. Frank asks Donnie, who in turn asks his science teacher, Dr. Kenneth Montanoff, if he believes in time travel. Montanoff gives Donnie some information on the topic, but later cuts their session short out of fear of losing his job, but not before giving Donnie The Philosophy of Time Travel, a book written by a former nun called Roberta Sparrow, who has since become Grandma Death. So that's her... No,
look at this is what I'm talking about. Look how long, it didn't take me that long to find this guy's format. This is him. His name's Shin, and but here it is. He wrote this, and here's the lost meme, But then here's his other one where he's like, "My window got broken recently. I was pretty bummed out about it, but I think the window broke. It created more wealth than I lost. The total wealth in the world increased. So whatever. But it was that, and originally it's a bike, but."
Okay, people can't see what we're talking about, though. So
why? That's why I said it out loud, didn't I?
Yeah.
They get really sad about it. I don't know. Life's complicated.
Well, you were asking why Grandma Death was important, and that's why, because she wrote that book.
I knew that's why she was important. Oh. I even said that.
You were hoping that she was going to say something more to it. I'm sorry. Later, while watching football, Donnie notices bubbly columns emerging from the chest of people around him that show Donnie where the person will move next, matching illustrations from the Sparrow's book. A bubble appears on his chest, and he follows it to his parents' closet where he finds and takes a gun. So that's when that happens.
Right.
So.
Well, it didn't show him taking it. It showed him holding it. And then the next scene, he's at the therapist talking about it.
I gotcha.
So you never... But, also, a couple more days go by.
Yeah, so
he had the gun on him the entire time.
Having it on him, I guess. Kitty arranges for Cunningham to speak at a school assembly, where Donnie insults him while offering his own advice to other children who had voiced their fears to Cunningham. He later finds Cunningham's wallet and address. While on a date with Gretchen at the local cinema, Donnie envisions Frank with one of his eyes shot out. Frank suggests Donnie set Cunningham's house on fire, which he does. I mean...
But also, that's the same symbolism from the book from the start of the movie.
Yeah.
He flooded the school. Then they burned it. He burned his house.
Yeah. Yeah.
Justice the destruction.
Firefighters discover a hoard of child pornography there. Cunningham is arrested, and Kitty, who wishes to testify in his defense, asks Rose to take her place as chaperone for their daughter's dance troupe on the trip to Los Angeles. With Rose and their little sister Samantha in Los Angeles and Eddie away for business, Donnie and Elizabeth hold a Halloween costume party to celebrate Elizabeth's acceptance to Harvard. At the party, Gretchen arrives distraught as her mother has gone missing, which she assumes was caused by her stepfather. And it is implied that she and Donnie have sex for the first time. Whatever. When Donnie realizes that Frank's prophesied end of the world is only hours away, he takes Gretchen and two other friends to find Sparrow. Instead, they find two high school bullies, Seth and Ricky, trying to rob Sparrow's home. Donnie, Seth, and Ricky fight in the road in front of her house. Just as she returns home, so Donnie, Seth, and Ricky fight in the road. Like I said, Donnie's two friends and the bullies flee when an oncoming car runs over Gretchen, killing her, which is messed up. The driver is Elizabeth's boyfriend, Frank Anderson, wearing the same rabbit costume from Donnie's visions. Donnie shoots him in the eye with his father's stolen gun and walks home carrying Gretchen's body. Interesting. Donnie returns home as a vortex forms over his house. He takes one of his parents' cars, loads Gretchen's body into it, and drives to a nearby ridge that overlooks town. There, what?
Is that not the same ridge he woke up on?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. There, he watches as the plane carrying Rose and the dance troupe home from Los Angeles gets caught in the vortex's wake, which rips off and catches one of the engines. Events of the previous 28 days rewind, and Donnie wakes up in his bedroom, recognizes the date as October 2nd, and laughs as the jet engine falls into his bedroom, crushing him. Around town, those whose lives would have touched wake from troubled dreams, which I thought was kind of interesting. Gretchen, who in this timeline has never met Donnie, bikes by the Darko home the next morning and learns of his death. She and Rose exchange glances and wave as if they know each other but cannot remember from where. And that's kind of how it ends. So, your overall thoughts? Which you've given pretty fluidly the entire time.
It was a really good movie. I enjoyed it thoroughly.
Really? I'm glad. I'm glad that there's one that you can say you enjoyed. I'm glad that we watched it. It tripped me out, the whole thing. I think for being a time travel-esque, stuck in your mind, weird type movie, I think that it did well for that. But it just really confused me the first time I watched it, and then I don't think it leaves holes. I think, you've really helped close it up for me. So,
I like to try.
I appreciate it. How many moves do you give it?
I gave it a 5.
You gave this movie a 5?
It's a beautifully written movie.
Wow.
Absolutely.
That's
the
great,
way everything
man.
comes together. The soundtrack's fantastic.
Truth.
Character development's fantastic. Even the lack of character development, you can still pull towards the whole meaning of everything else. Like the girl, you could still be like, well, she was, her whole purpose was to be an outlet or some kind of romantic interest at the blatant level for Donnie.
Yeah.
Which she is. And that's all that's needed. And then when she dies, it was just the trigger, I guess. And, I guess the only thing I really wish that there were more of was more of an explanation when he goes to the cellar and talking to the woman, why she knew so much about the time stuff.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Why the book even was written, all that. Did she know that was going to happen? Again, with, the thing falling from the sky. Why did that happen anyways?
Right.
But a lot of it, you can still be like, oh, does it make sense? Schizophrenia.
Yeah.
None of it was real.
So, there's a movie that came out in the 80s starring Tim Robbins, and even Macaulay Culkin was in it as this kid. And it's called Jacob's Ladder. And it's about somebody who came home from Vietnam War. I've only seen it once or twice. And the whole movie is him running around and seeing crazy faces and how they do that quick back and forth. He sees cars go by and he sees that. It's creepy as all get out. And you're like, what the heck is going on, man? What is this whole thing? And it turns out at the end, he dies. And it turns out he's still back in Vietnam. He never came home. He died there. So the whole movie is basically in his head.
Yep.
Spoiler alert for anybody that's never seen that movie. But it took watching it more than once to finally understand what the heck is even going on. You're like, whoa, what? That blows my mind. And I think that this movie,
I adore psychological movies.
Yeah.
When they're done correctly.
Well, then this definitely did it for you.
Because it is such a kudos when the writers can do that to you. When they can sit there and the entire time make you think one thing.
Yeah.
And then boom, plot, not just a plot twist, but a plot like undiscovery. Like here, not discovery. Here's what you thought. Your whole life's a lie. Boom.
Yeah.
We've been lying to you. You're the slap in the face. Here's another one. You know?
Yeah.
And it's like, what? Like,
right.
It's and a good example for that. The Boy. I know you've never seen.
No.
But when I watched that the first time, when the plot twist happened,
yeah.
I was like, holy crap.
Which I know of.
Because they set it up one way, they trailered it that same way.
Yeah.
The whole first half of the movie is played that way. You're like, oh, this doll's haunted.
Yeah.
You know, it's just a spooky movie about doll.
Boom.
No, man. Here's like 7 underlying problems with this movie. Here's 7 things that are horribly wrong that's going on the entire time. And then she gets stuck. And then she's there. Like it happens and you're like, okay, she's getting out. This is going to be the end of the movie. She's there for another like 5 hours.
Yeah.
I'm like, things just get progressively worse for her. And then the entire time you're like, is she going to live? And you're like, oh, and then the people that left him with her killed themselves.
Yeah.
And they were just gone. It's your problem now. Like, and the
It's
whole
your
time you're
problem
sitting
now.
there, you're like, did this really just happen?
That's true.
And you watch it back the second time and you're like, oh, you can kind of see how this is done.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, that's cool.
I love psychological movies. I love when they set it up like that.
And you can mess with your head.
That's why I kind of adore, like, fake hauntings. Because, like, the Conjuring series, Ed and Lorraine, their whole thing, where they can set it up where you have this family and make everyone believe one thing. Here's video evidence. Here's all this. Here's real. You have this kid being possessed. And then turn around, oh, she was just faking it for attention.
Right.
And it's like, I don't know, man, you're doing a pretty good job.
Yeah.
You know?
You might be faking, but everybody else is...
I believe in, supernatural stuff and everything, because energy is real.
Right.
When you die, get a return back to the earth and everything. Sometimes I get stuck. But it's just so phenomenal to think that people could be that good of actors.
Yeah.
To sit there and make you believe something that's not real. Like, I like magic. For that exact same, magician movies, I know it's not real in the sense of magic, because I've seen multiple videos where they show how they do it, but it's still so cool to be like, but how are you doing it? You know, like, what, this one seems kind of off the cuff here, like, how is this one being done? So, I enjoy an escape from reality, and I enjoy horror, and when it's set up like this, I mean, because the rabbit's scary. So you could, almost decline or describe this as a psychological horror, but I just love symbolism. I love deeper meanings, and that's what this whole movie is.
We haven't said it a lot, but there's layers.
There are layers.
There's a lot of layers on this one. It is definitely onion.
Favorite character?
Favorite character for me is Donnie.
Yeah, mine as well.
I think that he did it. I think Jake Gyllenhaal nailed the part for what it was supposed to be, and I think that he played it up as he should have. Least favorite would Gretchen?
Kitty.
Oh, Kitty.
God, what a freak. How are you gonna really sit there and be like, yeah, I'm gonna defend this guy after the literally proof, hard evidence.
Yeah, that's true.
So didn't like her at all.
I got you.
She's my least favorite. What else has she been in, though? She looked really familiar. I kept trying to place my finger on it. But I don't want to keep saying names and being wrong.
Right. Amelia West
this entire movie.
What is it?
Donnie Darko?
Yeah.
I just do it like that, yeah.
I have to look at who it is again.
Names like that, too, are super old.
Oh,
like,
so Kitty,
Rose.
She was in Speed. She's the little old lady that gets blown up on the bus.
I've never seen that.
Oh. I don't know. I don't know what it... Donnie Darko. Little Miss Sunshine.
I know one. Look at that. I know that one.
Little Miss Sunshine? No. I don't know what else you would have seen her in.
Child's Play 2.
Alright. I mean, have you seen Child's Play 2? She was on Grey's Anatomy at one point in time.
Maybe that's what it is. You literally, I mean, what episode? What was she doing?
The end is the beginning is the end. She was Sheila Olsen. I don't know.
Click on the episode.
No, I'm not doing any of that.
The end is the beginning of the end.
She's a voice on American Dad. Doesn't help you. She was on True Blood.
Oh, you know what? I bet that's what. Is she in the first episode? Or something?
No.
Well.
She's in a movie called Herbie's Boy. Man. I don't know that you are necessarily knowing who she is from any specific movie. So, Malcolm in the Middle.
Oh. That would.
She was Doreen Hooper, Hal's friend. Yeah, I know that you watched Malcolm in the Middle like 450 times.
Yeah.
So that's probably exactly where you know her from. So we'll go with that. So you want some trivia?
Mm-hmm.
All right. At the wrap party for the film, Seth Rogen and Jake Gyllenhaal agreed that they had no idea what the movie was about.
Oh no, it is from Grey's Anatomy.
Oh,
because she's the one. This and the whole time she's with her ex-husband was trying to do something, and then they got caught by the stepdaughter was also there, or the daughter was there and was all like, "Bruh, I thought you two were done with this."
I don't know. Well,
yeah.
There you go.
I've also seen Grey's Anatomy a million times. So.
Truth.
Yeah.
During the conversation with the about sex with a therapist, the script had Donnie's fantasy be about Alyssa Milano originally. You know who that is, right? The youngest sister from Charmed.
Oh.
Okay.
Yes.
This had to be changed to Christina Applegate due to legal reasons. So, Jake Gyllenhaal used the strategy of rarely blinking to enhance his psychotic creepiness. So,
yep.
Hey, good job by him for selling it.
He's creepy looking to begin with. Like, even throughout the Spider-Man movie,
yeah,
he's scary.
Seth Rogen's first line in this, his first feature film that he was ever in, was, "I like your boobs." Yeah. He's the kid that says that.
Right.
So, Patrick Swayze wore his own clothes from the 1980s for the film. Oh. He still had 1980s clothes. So, good job.
Good for him.
I mean, you hold on to a good thing, I guess.
You hold on for a reason. Everything happens for a reason. Boom.
There you go. The director's cut greatly alters the pacing of the film, adding deleted scenes, new visual effects, and switching the soundtrack of the movie around. Richard Kelly regards this version not as a director's cut, as he considers the theatrical version just fine in its own right. Instead, to him, the new version is a special edition of sorts. So I thought that was interesting, because I know how you are about things like that. So, yeah. So it actually changed it around a bit. Makes it a different movie. So, you got anything else, kiddo?
I do not.
You feel like you've talked enough about it?
Yeah.
I think you did a really good job. I think I'm glad that
enjoyed this movie.
I'm glad that you enjoyed it.
I like when they have layers, because it's more that you can talk about, more you can relate to, more that you can suffice as well. I meant to say I hate in the beginning when the mom goes in, because I liked the mom for a good amount of it. She seemed like she had pretty good set morals and thinkings of what she was doing.
Yeah.
But when she goes into his room in the first one, when he's back home after the first night of being out, she's all like, "Where'd my boy go?" And I think that comment is so hurtful when you look at your kid and you go, "What happened to you?" Versus, because so much happens throughout life.
I got you.
Where it's like you change so much and you know a lot more. You realize how harsh life is. That you lose that childhood touch, and in a sense you keep it with some things,
Yeah.
But a lot of time you become harsher, offhandedly blunt. And, like, I mean, in his case, he has real problems, real mental illness. And she goes, what happened to you? Like, that's not fair to him.
Right.
It's not fair to the kid to say stuff like that when so much has happened that, I mean, as a person, you can't know everything. I do not know everything that happens throughout the day for everyone else except for myself.
Right.
And it's unfair to sit there and look at someone and be like, you used to be so much nicer. What happened? I mean, that's hurtful because you don't know what happened. You don't know if it's something that was horrible that happened to them, or if it's something that they had to work on for years, and you saying that just set them back like 4 years, you know?
Yeah.
You know, and like with myself, I struggle a lot with my emotions and regulating them properly. And for a long time, it was just anger. And like when someone comes at me a certain way, not immediately hitting them with the out of 10. And I used to do that a lot in middle school. And then my friends would make comments like, oh, you scare me, or you're not fun to be around, or you're always mean, stuff like that. So for a long time, I worked on, trying to fix that. So sometimes when that slips through, because old habits die hard, and people say stuff like, you're always so horrible, like, what's wrong with you, and like, that hurts. Because it's like, it feels like all my progress has been for nothing.
I got you.
So in a sense of where she sits there and she says that to him, it's like, imagine someone saying that to you about something like that. I mean, this is over something he cannot control. It's just awful.
Good. That's good introspect. Introspect?
Perspective.
Yes. Well, introspect, because you're introspecting about yourself.
Oh, yeah, I guess. I've never heard that word before.
I don't think I've ever said that word before.
I don't think so either. Introspective.
Introspective. I'm going to look that up
I think it's real, but...
I want to find out.
It would make sense. Introspective perspective.
Introspective.
Yeah. Taking a look inside yourself.
Wow. Good job by me for pulling a nickel word out.
The mirror image. Oh,
yeah.
You see it.
I saw the little guy.
Yeah. But yeah, something to end on. Something to think about with this movie.
I like that.
Something.
Good words. You've been very wise this episode. Very wise, Elizabeth. I like it. We did get a good review, I believe.
Oh, we did?
Yeah.
Oh, what did it say?
Good things.
That's it?
Yeah. Good. It said something else, but I can't remember what it said. So, anyway. All right. Anything else, my child?
Leave a review. We send stickers.
I don't know if it's a good review. You leave me one sticker. I'm not sending you a sticker.
I mean, if they ask
I want you to send me a sticker.
If they sent a review and they were like, okay, I want my sticker, I'd send it.
1 star.
Totally fair.
You're not funny. Can't remember his name. He's mildly entertaining. I want my sticker.
I want the sticker, though.
You got it.
It's good quality.
It's coming. All right. We're going to wrap this up tonight. I'd like to thank everyone for stopping by and listening to our 56th episode. We do definitely appreciate it more than you could imagine. And of course, the best way to say you love us is to give us that 5-star review on iTunes. You can email us at the yesyourpodcast@gmail.com. Twitter is twitter.com/yesyourpcast. What?
You know what I wonder what was foreshadowing? You know when he grabs the knife and he's like trying to break through the barrier between them? I wonder if that was a way of trying to... Because at first I was like, oh, something sharp to break it, But maybe that was a I'm going to kill you thing, because he does kill him later.
We didn't go into it, but there's also... Jeez. We're...
Everyone's already logged out. This is just people who stay after credits now.
Yeah. There's the whole thing about sin as well. We didn't really go into it, but for the smoking, the drinking, and the implied sex... Those 3 things, he broke the 3 cardinal rule things that you're not supposed to do, which means you have to die in a movie. So he did that. That's also brought up.
That's cool too.
So because it's kind of like, well, it kind of goes to the whole religious aspect of it,
right.
of breaking the laws and this, that, and the other. So, but I didn't really go into it. So
I don't like that. I don't. When a movie focuses on that aspect where it's like, here are these rules to follow, here's the Bible, it feels like the plot's already set up kind of for them.
Yeah,
so it feels like lazy writing automatically to me, because it doesn't feel creative. It feels like, okay, well, we're just gonna follow this kind of Old Testament vibes vibes, and have them smoke, drink, and then make love, and then we're gonna kill them off, and there's a symbolism done.
I got
And the
you.
same thing with like light in movies, like easy symbolism that you're like, oh well, light represents hope. So when you or like Freddy Krueger and she's in the thing, and then everything's white, you're like, oh, freedom type stuff. So I don't really like that kind of thing. I like the deeper meanings and the parallelism, paradoxes.
We need to watch Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2 so we can watch that travesty of a movie with the devil-faced dogs.
We can do that. I think that'd be fun to do a series of gag movies, or bad movies, but gag movies for Patreon episodes.
Yeah.
It'd be fun. Watch little crap movies and then talk about them, like Mac and Me.
That movie's great. That's a gem. How dare you? How dare you?
Like I said, gag movies.
Instagram.com is Instagram.com/YesYourPodcast. Facebook page, Facebook.com/YesYourPodcast. Facebook group is the Truffle Shufflers. Secret question is the host names, James and Beth. We do have the YesYourPodcast.com, which is our website. It's awesome. Go there, buy stuff, check us out. You can see our pics and see our bios. If you do want to do Patreon, it's patreon.com/the nostalgia group. Nostalgia group. Shout out to Greg Revan for our intro and outro music. And as always, we love you. Say goodnight, Beth.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.